Hello, and welcome back to the Iraqi Dinar channel, your reliable source for the latest updates on Iraq's currency revaluation journey. If you're joining us for the first time, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a key update. Especially today, because the information we're diving into is more than just encouraging. It could represent a true turning point. Let's get right into it. There's a brand new development coming directly out of Iraq, and this one is based on verified official reporting, not rumors, not speculation. This is real. And it's the kind of shift that every Iraqi dinar holder should be paying attention to. An official article was recently published with a powerful and direct headline. The dinar is recovering. The dollar's value in Iraq has dropped due to local measures. That's a huge statement. And it's not just for show. It signals that momentum might finally be moving in the direction that so many have been hoping for. A headline like this doesn't appear unless there's something real happening on the ground. So what exactly does this mean in practice? Reports from inside Iraq indicate that exchange offices and local stock exchanges in multiple provinces across the country are recording a steady decline in the dollar's exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar. This isn't just a one-off dip. It's part of a broader pattern. The trend has been developing over several weeks, and it's been consistent, showing a slight but ongoing decrease in the dollar's strength compared to the dinar. That's a big deal, because if you're invested in the dinar or even just tracking its potential, a falling dollar inside Iraq is the clearest textbook indicator of progress. The weaker the dollar becomes in Iraq, the stronger the dinar becomes by comparison. And a stronger dinar doesn't just mean more value in your pocket. It points to increased economic stability, more purchasing power for Iraqi citizens, and potentially a more favorable exchange rate for investors once any form of revaluation occurs. This trend, while still in the early stages, is showing all the right signs. And according to respected intel analysts like M&T Goat, it's more than just surface-level progress. It reflects deeper structural shifts that are taking place within Iraq's financial and political systems. Think about it. A decline like this in the dollar's value doesn't just happen naturally or overnight. It requires intention, strategy, deliberate policy action. And that's exactly what appears to be unfolding behind the scenes. We're now seeing what officials refer to as local measures beginning to take effect. From the sources we've reviewed, these measures involve a combination of new financial controls being implemented by the Central Bank of Iraq. That includes stricter regulations on how U.S. dollars leave the country, tighter control over currency auctions, and renewed efforts to shut down the black market, which for years has distorted real exchange rates and undermined stability. In other words, Iraq is reclaiming authority over its own currency, and that is no small feat. It's arguably the most important first step on the path toward full currency reform, and perhaps even a revaluation. For months, we've been discussing how Iraq's financial system has been under pressure, both internally and externally. There's been ongoing demand to restore order, improve transparency, and support a stable, sustainable dinar. And in the recent past, the situation looked bleak. The U.S. dollar had gained significant strength inside Iraq, largely due to irregularities in the market. Smuggling, money laundering, and widespread corruption meant that the official exchange rate was often disconnected from what was happening in the real world. But now, that's beginning to change. One of the clearest signs of this shift is the narrowing gap between the official dollar rate and the rate seen on the street in black market exchanges. That gap has historically been a major obstacle to revaluation. Why? Because it indicated instability, an inability to control the currency or align policy with reality. But today, that gap is shrinking. Slowly, yes, but consistently. For example, just a month ago in Baghdad, the dollar was trading on the black market at over 1,500 dinars. Today, some exchanges are reporting trades in the 1,400s. While that may not seem like a dramatic change, consistency is what matters in currency markets. A slow, steady decline can be more meaningful than a single sharp drop. It tells us that the underlying forces are shifting, and that's what creates the environment for lasting change. So the question on everyone's mind is, why now? Why are we seeing this shift at this moment? The answer ties back to months of pressure and preparation. The Central Bank of Iraq, along with other key financial and political institutions, has been working to address inflation, stabilize the economy, and establish the dinar as a reliable store of value. These aren't overnight goals, but we're finally starting to see the results of that long-term work. Banks are now being monitored more closely. Financial systems are becoming more digitized, reducing the space for corruption and manipulation. And maybe most important of all, the Iraqi public is beginning to place more trust in their own currency. That trust is critical. Because when people believe in a currency, they use it, they hold it, and they invest in it. Confidence leads to demand, and demand creates value. It's not just an internal story either. Globally, we're watching the early stages of a move away from U.S. dollar dominance. Countries like China, Russia, Brazil, and others are increasingly seeking ways to trade and operate outside of dollar-based systems. Iraq is participating in that trend as well. They are looking to assert greater sovereignty over their financial system, reduce reliance on foreign currencies, and restore national control over their economic future. And when that happens, strengthening the local currency becomes a natural next step. If you're an investor, what this all means is that the dinar, once viewed as a stagnant or speculative asset, is beginning to show signs of organic appreciation. If these trends hold, and if Iraq continues on its current trajectory of reform and stabilization, we could very well be looking at the foundation being laid for a revaluation environment. Now, let me be clear. No one, absolutely no one, can give a definitive timeline for when or if a revaluation will occur. It's not about predicting a date. It's about watching the signs, tracking the policies, and understanding the direction things are moving. And right now, those signs are more positive and more aligned than they've been in a very long time. So, what should you do in response? First and foremost, stay informed. That's the whole reason this channel exists. We're here to track every development from the central bank, monitor every major headline, and keep you in the loop as things unfold. Second, be cautious. Don't fall for quick-fix promises or schemes. Even with all this progress, things like this take time. Policy, politics, and public confidence must align before real revaluation becomes possible. And third, be hopeful. Because for the first time in a long time, the conditions are starting to shift in our favor. Think about where we were 10 years ago. People laughed at the idea that the dinar could ever rise. 5 years ago, corruption and instability were at their peak. Even just 2 years ago, the idea of real currency reform seemed distant at best. But now, today, we're witnessing real movement. Not hype, not false hope. Real measurable progress. If you've been patient, if you've stayed the course, then you may very well be standing at the beginning of a new phase in this journey. Thanks so much for watching today's update. If you found this video valuable, please hit that like button, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and share it with others in the dinar community. Let's keep this conversation going, because the future of the dinar may finally be shifting in a positive direction. Until next time, stay alert, stay informed, and above all, stay hopeful.